Hi everyone, this is Mindy Eggen and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a clean and simple Christmas card to share with you featuring this Snowflake Circle cover plate die from Gina Designs. Here's a look at that Snowflake Circle cover plate, and this is going to create a beautiful focal point for the front of my card. So I'm going to first die cut it out of some white cardstock, and I'm going to just hold it down with Post-it tape while I run it through my die cut machine. And then I'm taking the pick and stick tool from Gina Designs and poking out all of those negative pieces. Now you could save them if you want to do maybe a die cut inlay technique, but I just really wanted to focus on the front of this card. Now for a piece behind it, I'm using the Master Layouts 2 die. This is the stitched one, and I'm going to die cut that out of layering white cardstock. This is going to fit perfectly behind my front panel that I have that snowflake die cut from. I'm going to do some ink blending to go behind that snowflake. So I'm starting with a dark lilac and my blending brush, and I'm going to add this kind of over in that top left corner. Now look at those spots. Those are my greasy fingerprints. So this is why we always use anti-static powder tools when we heat emboss, because you never know how greasy your fingers really are, especially when you start messing with ink. So once I blended that on, I'm going to bring in blue denim, and this time I'm kind of coming in from the bottom right hand corner, but I do want to leave a little space because I want to add another color to kind of help brighten this up. These two colors together are extremely pretty, and you can see as I kind of laid that over the top to get an idea, I still have some room there, so I'm adding medium orchid, and this is going to go right in that empty area and really kind of helps brighten up that colored background. Now normally when I ink blend, I'm a little bit more meticulous about how well this looks blended, but honestly we're not going to see the imperfections, so it doesn't have to be perfectly blended. Now I'm bringing this over. I like how this is looking, so I'm going to go ahead and start attaching some panels together. I die cut out that snowflake cover panel, or that circle cover panel, from white cardstock about 2 more times, and I added tape runner around the edges, and then I'm adding the liquid glue to the snowflake portion. It was pretty fine lines, so I thought it would be easier to kind of mix and match my adhesive here. I'm going to line this up so it fits perfectly over the top to help add dimension. And now I want to show you something. So this is something I picked up from Bossy Jossie, I think it's called. I'll link it down below. And this is Jennifer McGuire's kind of logo, the Share Handmade Kindness. It is a heavy block that I like to put on top of my liquid glue items to help secure them down. And I'll tell you, it's got some weight to it. So I really love that. I'll link it down below where you can pick one up too. Now I had added all of my cover pieces to my blended panel. I let that sit for a little bit so that that adhesive or that liquid glue really sticks down. And then I placed some foam tape behind that panel so I could pop it up on the front of my card. And I'm just using white cardstock for that. For a sentiment to go over the top, I have some in the Navy cardstock here from Gina Designs, and I'm picking out a sentiment from the Blizzard stamp set. And one of the reasons that I picked this sentiment is because it has a matching die. So there's a die that's going to cut that out perfectly, and I absolutely love when that happens. So I'm prepping the cardstock with an anti-static powder tool because we noticed how greasy my fingers were previously. And then I ink this up into some white pigment ink and just gently stamping that down because I don't want to squish my letters. Then I'm going to sprinkle on some silver embossing powder, tap off my excess, and then melt that embossing powder with my heat tool. So once we let that sit for just a minute, maybe not even that, just enough so that it cools off, there's a couple things I want to show you. First, I go over this with a Swiffer Cloth to buff off any excess powder, but if you still have powder on there, I take this large pencil eraser, it's a soft eraser, and I'm just lightly buffing over it. That really has helped remove any excess powder from my cardstock, especially the dark cardstock. Now I can use that coordinating die to die cut my sentiment out. I also cut it a few more times from that same color cardstock and layered together with the liquid glue. And I did this because it is a pretty small area to use foam squares, and I wanted to add dimension to that. Now I set my sentiment in the center of the card, which is where I plan on putting it, but right now it's just there as a placeholder, and I'm using some of the disco ball sequins from Gina K Designs and adding that kind of to the intersecting areas of the snowflake and then to the outside points. And I'm also going to add some of this unicorn stickles right to the center for some added sparkle. And then I can go ahead and add my sentiment using the liquid glue. Now, if I would have been thinking, I would have done the sentiment first so I could place that heavy block on top, but this works too. I just kind of held onto it for a few extra seconds with my fingers. So that's going to finish off my card project for you for today. I know it was really easy and kind of a clean and simple card, but to be honest, I've been just kind of lacking mojo and I really just wanted to jump in and create something. So if you're ever lacking mojo, I hope this has helped jumpstart yours too. All of my supplies will be listed down below in the video description and over on my blog as well. Thanks so much for joining me today.